Don't know if you can see or hear this, but this is a swarm of bees, and that ugly brown box at the top is an old nook that I put out as a swarm trap. So we have caught a swarm of bees. Either it's a neighbor's bees, possibly our bees, but I didn't see them swarm. Or wild feral bees, which is wonderful. So we have suddenly a third beehive. I'm going to walk down there. So now I'm walking down here. You can see, presumably I won't get stung, but you can see the massive amount of bees that are around here, and you can see them on the top. You can see them in the front. They are congregating onto that nook, the brown one, and I'm standing here without a bee suit or anything, and supposedly they're supposed to be gentle when they're swarming because they have one thing on their mind, which is reproducing the colony to their new home. So by having this old nook out, which is just full of empty frames, it smells good. So any beehives that are going to be swarming, any bees that are going to be swarming, send out scouts, and they check it out and they find a good home for themselves. So they found a good home for themselves in one of my nooks. So in the beekeeping apiary world, we call this free bees. And like I said, I'm out here without a bee suit, and there's thousands of bees in the air, and they're moving into this nook. And so wherever they swarm from would have left behind a colony with about half the bees and half the honey stores and pollen stores, and a new virgin queen that will go out and mate. So what I've got here is an overwintered queen who decided that their colony was big enough and they had to reproduce. But they reproduce as a colony, so that's considered a good sign. And I'll see if we can zoom in a little bit. I'm just out here with bees swarming around me, and it's a little disconcerting. But it's kind of like being in the middle of a hurricane, or actually on the outside of a hurricane. The center's over there. So I caught 3 swarms last year, but they were my own. And the way I caught them was I found them leaving my hive, and they were on the top of a tree branch, and I caught them in a bucket. But this hive, it was just really just baited by leaving out a piece of old equipment. So once they get acclimated to their new home, I'll leave them there, and then I'll find a new place for them in the yard. So I've got a third beehive here to deal with. But this is wonderful.